You clicked this video, you know what we're talking about, so let's go. The number 5 long-term question for the Z Flip is how many apps will support it? Samsung showed off the ability to use the two halves in a unique way. When taking a selfie, you can fold the flip. Your image will pop to the top screen. The controls go to the bottom. Additionally, Samsung said you could watch a YouTube video on the top while looking at comments below. Now that's something, but how many apps will be able to take advantage of this folder? Google is supporting foldable devices in Android 10, so in theory, apps will be built to handle such things. The Z Flip also has a very tall, narrow screen. We'll have to see how apps adjust to that size. In Android 10, Google told developers they should test apps for a number of different devices, including 21:9 ratios, kind of like the Flip. It is not a requirement though. Apps may not look perfect right away unless developers took note of Google's message. Get it? Took note? Because it's Samsung. Haha. Number 4, that gap. You guys remember the Galaxy Fold? It was released in the ancient days of 2019. If you don't remember it, it's this massive phone that you should be seeing right now because that's how videos work. Opened, it was a big old tablet. When closed, it looked like two smartphones stacked on top of each other with a gap in the middle. The downside of the gap, stuff could get into the device one way or another. Let's look at the Z Flip. When it's closed, there's an itty bitty gap between the halves. Okay, why does that matter? Because matter could get in there. That's the matter. Could your screen get damaged because a business card wedged its way in there? Probably not. But what about a key? That could be a problem. As an aside, never keep your phone and keys in the same pocket if you can avoid it. Also, Samsung did say that it added some new fibers to stop debris from getting behind the screen. So that should take care of one side, in theory. At number 3, what does it cost to repair? So the more complex the device, the more expensive it is to repair, usually. In the Galaxy Z Flip's case, we've got a flexible screen, a little cover touchscreen, a fingerprint sensor on the side, and that hinge. That's plenty of components. Let's just say the Z Flip is as durable as any Samsung phone. Gravity and clumsiness still exist, so what happens when Mr. Butterfingers over here drops his Z Flip on the concrete? The last time I dropped a flip phone on the ground, it was a Nextel, and it skid across a New York City crosswalk. The outer plastic casing got a brand new texture, but the phone was fine. The little screens worked fine too. No repairs necessary. What happens with the Z Flip? What happens if you crack that little cover screen? I'm curious what repair costs will be. I'd imagine they might be pricey. Number 2, the durability. This goes with number 3. Now, let's assume you're Mr. Surehands Man. You never drop anything unless you decide to. You've got the iron grip. That's wonderful. How long will the Z Flip survive everyday usage? First up, that screen. Samsung is using an ultra-thin glass. I've heard it is a lot more satisfying to touch than the Moto Razr. The Razr has this very plasticky, unsmooth finish. It's probably because it is plastic. Samsung is using glass, so it feels more like a regular smartphone. All right, so how durable is it? Samsung says the 6.7-inch display can last for 200,000 folds. I have a feeling CNET will be testing this out. We used a folding machine to test the Galaxy Fold and the Moto Razr. Check out the highlights if you get a chance. We'll learn over time how well the Flip screen handles everyday usage. According to research by Asurion, Americans check their phones 96 times per day. So if Samsung's numbers are right, the Z Flip will last over 2,000 days or 5.7 years before the screen fails. What about the hinge? It's a 3-stop hinge, so the Z can hold itself up like a little laptop or a compact. It's pretty neat. How long can that hinge last? Add moving parts, and you add another point of failure. And the number 1 long-term question is the Z Flip worth the price? The Galaxy Z Flip costs $1,380. The specs are pretty good. It's got a Snapdragon 855 Plus processor, 8 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of storage. You can't add in more storage with a micro SD card, unfortunately. It also does not have 5G. Now, if you compare this to the other folding phones, it's actually pretty good. The Moto Razr has a Snapdragon 710, 6 gigs of RAM, and 128 gigs of storage. No option to expand either, but it costs $1,500. Also, the Z Flip has a Samsung camera, while the Moto has a Moto camera. The Galaxy Fold is nearly $2,000 and is a beast of a phone with a 7.3-inch screen and 6 cameras. The Z Flip sounds pretty reasonable at $1,380 when compared to flexible phones/tablets. However, if you want a Samsung phone, you can have a lot to choose from at under $1,380. You can get the Galaxy S20 or S20 Plus, both have 5G, the biggest image sensors on a Samsung smartphone ever, expandable storage, and water resistance. You can actually get the Galaxy S20 Plus with 512 gigs of internal storage for $30 less than the Z Flip. The S20 seems like it's built for the future. It's a device that may be pricey, but is going to last you for several years. Can we say the same thing for the Z Flip? I don't know. If you want to know my opinion on the S20, check this out. And all that being said, I think the Z Flip is a really cool phone. If I had Funyun money, I'd get a Flip, but I don't. If you've got questions, comments, anecdotes, jokes, let me know. I'm Zach Tar, and I'll see you online.